Hello everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much everyone for subscribing, for your encouragement. Wow. You guys now, wow. The ginger. I got some private messages, some very encouraging messages from my friends, from people who are also going through this autoimmune disease as well. So that was very encouraging to know that I'm not alone and we can both, come together, hold each other's hands, and encourage each other as we tackle lupus. For those that don't know me, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Esther, and I'm based out here in Toronto, Ontario. And I'm just here to share my testimony, to share my lupus journey, my lupus story with you, and hopefully, inspire or encourage someone along the way to also share their story. Okay, so I'm just gonna dive right into it. I was diagnosed with lupus in 2012 in Lagos, Nigeria, and at that time, we didn't even know it was lupus, right? I was in and out of the hospital, and I was being treated for all sorts of diagnosis. I was treated for typhoid, malaria, infection. My doctor went through it with me, and at some point, my doctor, God bless her, she was like, you know what, let's try an autoimmune disease test, and we did try that, and it came out positive for lupus. Now at that point, I didn't know what lupus was, right? And I thought, okay, it's just an illness, we'll take a couple of drugs and we'll be fine. But she made me understand that it's more serious, it's something I might have to deal with for a while. And even at that point, I was kind of made to understand that I may not be able to have children. So that kind of broke me and put some fear in me. But of course, God is God, all that changed. Okay, so those are parts of the testimonies that I will be sharing on this channel. Just a little bit about myself. Yes, so I was diagnosed in 2012 and went through it. In fact, I remember being sick a week to my wedding in 2013. I was in the hospital for pericarditis. Now, pericarditis is when you have fluids in your lungs, and it causes you to have chest pain, and not just normal chronic chest pain. In fact, I thought I was going to die, but I'm still here, thank God. But that was how severe it was at that point. And at that time, I know I had to be on very high dose of prednisone, right, to help with the inflammation. Now, some of us will be asking, what is lupus, right? Google is your friend, but I'll tell you a brief definition. So lupus is just an autoimmune disease that allows your body to attack itself, right? So your white blood cells counts are low. Your body literally attacks itself. So with that, there's no cure for lupus, and it's just a disease that you have to manage over time. Sorry guys, I'm just recovering from a cold. I have been living with that for a couple of years, and throughout, it's been one miracle to the other. I've had kids living with lupus, so don't be afraid. You can have kids with lupus, but lupus pregnancy are considered very, very high risk. So you need to be talking to a doctor, a high risk doctor, if you have lupus and you want to have kids. With being on, good medication and thorough monitoring, you can live a very good life with lupus. Lupus has helped me kind of define how I live, how I work, and how I take care of my health generally. I'm not regular. I wouldn't tackle things the way a normal healthier human being would, because of the lupus diagnosis. But it has been a life-changing experience, and I have conquered so many milestones that has brought me, to a place where I felt like, okay, I'm comfortable enough to kind of share my experiences and share my testimonies to encourage others and to let people know that there is hope. It's not a life sentence. You always have to look at the positive side of your life. If you're dealing with lupus, there is the positive side, and that is what mainly we will be focusing on this channel. I'm hoping that my journey or my testimony will inspire people, will encourage people, my fellow Lupis, my fellow Lupi warriors. Come up, come up, come up. I'm hoping that as I share my testimonies, it will inspire you to fight every day for your health. Fight every day. If you have a family, number one priority, you have a reason to fight. Okay? So, well, let me tell you a little bit about myself. So I was born in Lagos, Nigeria. I got diagnosed in Nigeria. And while I was working, like I said, I was falling ill, in and out of the hospital. And I was able to have the diagnosis of lupus. And at some point, of course, I got married and was afraid that I may never be able to have kids. So, as God will have it, my husband and I relocated to Canada. He had to come, for his PhD education. And I came with him, okay? But 3 months after being here, I was like, bros, this country is not for me. It's too cold. I had this loneliness. There was no family, no friends, there was nobody. So I was feeling kind of out of place. I said, you know what? Why don't you face your PhD? Let me go back and continue working and face, and then maybe, I can get used to being here. Of course, he allowed me. I went back to Nigeria 3 months after coming here. I couldn't stay. And while I was in Nigeria, hell experience. I felt sick multiple times. At the slightest thing, I would get a stomach ache. So the way I would, there are a lot of things I couldn't eat that I shouldn't be eating, but I really did not understand that it was affecting, it was affecting my body. So I would always be sick, like in and out of the hospital. I would have stomach ache at the slightest infection. I would have, joint pains, rashes, swollen lymph nodes. I had thyroid at some point, all the lupus symptoms. So you have rashes, joint pains, you have swollen joints, headaches, internal fever, fatigue, brain fog, like horrible. It's such a horrible experience. And all these symptoms will manifest like other diseases. So you would think that, oh, maybe you had typhoid or maybe you had malaria, but it was manifesting. It was just your body attacking itself, right? And at that point, it was just a very horrible time going in and out of the hospital, spending so much on medication, having a 360-degree lifestyle change in regards to food, taking my self-care very seriously as well. And of course, at the end of that year, it was time for me to, just pack my bag and go to my husband, So, of course, I relocated back. And I would say on this video, I'm sure my doctor will see this because she's part of this project of me telling the story. Thank God for Canada. If you are there watching this video with me, I want you to echo with me and say, thank God for Canada. First of all, thank God for God, because it was all an orchestrated plan by God. But thank God for Canada, because the moment I came back and I stepped back into the Canadian healthcare system, my lupus was tamed, was controlled, was monitored. I got the right medication, the right doctors, the right program, the right resource, the support, 110%. And because of all that support that I got, I was able to have children. I was able to work. I was able to go to school. I was able to live a normal life. So in essence, what I'm saying is, when you have a diagnosis of lupus, it's not like a death sentence, okay? It's just a lifestyle change that is required. And when I say lifestyle change, 360-degree lifestyle change, like everything about your life, you will need to reevaluate your food, your self-care, your environment, your routine. You know, you really need to evaluate a lot of things. And this would affect your relationship, because for me, a lot of people did not understand what I was dealing with, and as such, it did affect relationships, right? And you know, at that point, it's not everyone you can start explaining to what you're dealing with. So you will need to be okay with losing some friendships, you know. And it's fine, honestly, it's fine, because sometimes the stress also that you experience from relationship adds to fueling your lupus flares, okay? So the 360-degree change, you know, you will need to adapt to and be okay with. So I had to, you know, go through all that changes until, you know, I got stable, you know, enough to kind of have children, and then begin to re-strategize and, you know, just build my own little bubble where I can function. Okay, so basically that is the beginning of my lupus story. In my next video, I will be talking about my lupus and pregnancy. Hey God, drama. That story, it's a whole testimony on its own. This video will not contain that story, no matter how short I try to make it. But I will be talking about my lupus and pregnancy and how I overcame that, and the testimony, the miraculous ways that God showed up for me in those pregnancies. I have two beautiful children now. When I first got diagnosed in 2012, I didn't know what lupus was. When I got married in 2013, I had known, I had lupus. I got pregnant at that point, and I lost the pregnancy because it wasn't properly managed, right? When you have lupus, you just can't get pregnant. You need to be working with a high-risk doctor to help you monitor your symptoms and advise you on when you can start to try for a baby. All those things are what we are going to be talking about on this channel. And I would be looking forward to your questions, what questions you would like me to answer, or, you know, what you're dealing with or what you would like to get clarification on. Please note, these are not medical advice. These are just my personal experience, things I have handled, that I've been through, and how it worked for me. How it worked for me might not be the way it works for you. So you will need to be talking to your doctor on more serious medical issues. But until then, I'll see you again in my next video. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your encouragement. Please reach out. Let's connect. Let's encourage each other. And let's kick lupus. Thank you. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.